All right, this is the Container Storage Interface Community Meeting. Today is January 5, 2022. Correct that. With that, let's go ahead and kick it off. So anybody want to bring up items for the agenda today?
Yeah, Shing and I were just saying before the meeting that there's nothing already on the agenda, so this meeting might be a short one.
Any catch up from last time?
Looks like the folks brought up issues last time are not in
Not
today's
present
meeting.
today. Yeah.
Deep.
Okay. In that case, I think this may be a quick meeting. We'll go ahead and just cancel it for today then.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Sorry, on the Slack, what's the difference intended between the CSI and SIG storage channels?
That's a good question. So when CSI was originally created, the intention was that CSI would be implemented beyond just Kubernetes. And we tried very hard to keep a strict kind of boundary between the Kubernetes storage SIG community and the CSI community to avoid kind of polluting it and saying, oh, CSI is just for Kubernetes. As it turns out, I think more and more Kubernetes is effectively the primary implementation of CSI, but I've heard there are others.
There's a Nomad, I think, but I don't know if they. But they never showed up in this meeting, right? So I don't know what they do. But they did I know that they actually opened some issues for the VCS CSI driver because VCS CSI driver only works in Kubernetes, so it's still an open issue. So what about all those other basically? I guess Mesos and Block. We don't have those drivers anymore, right? They used to have some experimental CSI drivers, so.
Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea. Does anyone on the call know?
I don't know.
My memory was like it was always something they were planning on doing soon. I don't know if that ever got done. And
so there were some experimental drivers from those other.
You mean SPs or COs?
COs.
Okay. I think of drivers as SPs, but okay.
Yeah. Because at that time there was some, I think Meso have something, and then Docker has something.
Oh, you mean like a driver at their level, like the glue code?
Yeah, I remember at that time they have something, but since they don't even attend this meeting anymore, I don't even know what.
Yeah, honestly, I think it raises a bigger question, which is, the future of the CSI project. I think I've been thinking a little bit about it. There's a couple of options on the table. One is, just donate it to the CNCF as a separate standalone project. Another option is to make it a sub-project of Kubernetes SIG storage. I think that second option would be an interesting one, given that the majority of the people that attend
that's true. The only thing is this other
exactly, and that's where it would
show up here, so I don't know what.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say that from a who does the work perspective, yeah, it seems to have turned into a SIG storage sub project, but I wouldn't read too much into the fact that like other CO implementers aren't showing up to these meetings, because it could be the case that people took us at our word and said, this is a Kubernetes independent standard that anyone can implement, and they've just gone out and implemented it and it's working fine for them, and they don't show up to the meetings because they don't have any problems with it.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Because we sort of promised that it's going to be workable without Kubernetes, it would be very hard to revoke that promise, I think.
Yeah. I think that's a fair point. And I honestly, I think it ended up making the spec better than it would have been if it was a CSI only project. It forced us to think about our abstractions a little bit more. And I think that's worth kind of continuing as we maintain CSI. Eric, that was a long-winded answer. Does that answer your question?
Well, I guess the core of my question was really where should we be posting development related topics in SIG storage or in CSI as we continue to enhance our CSI driver. It's good historical context though. Yep. So
that's a good question. Ben, Sheng, you want to tackle that?
I actually think I would support collapsing the Slack channels at this point, and saying, yeah, it's just come to SIG storage because all the people who actually do the work are there. And just having a single point of if you want to talk to the developers who are maintaining this, come to Kubernetes SIG storage. But then as far as the way we maintain it, try to keep it separate and compatible with other things, without breaking that. I guess what I'm dreading is some point in the future, someone's going to come in with some Kubernetes specific feature, and we're going to want to say no. We'll be conflicted to say no versus yes. If we're treating it like a Kubernetes only standard, it's going to be hard to.
Yeah, I would plus one everything Ben is saying. Most of the folks that support CSI are in that Kubernetes SIG storage Slack channel. So if you want to get kind of the most number of eyes on it, that's probably the place you should post any questions.
Okay, SIG storage, got it.
I wonder if we can update like the CSI Slack channel with like a topic that says, go to SIG storage, if you're looking for the developers, or if we can somehow deprecate the Slack channel and just collapse them.
That's a good idea.
I mean, the counter argument is it's not that hard to be in two Slack channels, and most of us are already doing it. So having just yet another Slack channel doesn't have any huge downsides, other than I guess confusion among people that aren't part of the community. They don't know where to go.
Yeah, I say let's hold off on updating the channels until we have until we figure out what we're doing with CSI, the project itself. Whether it's donating to the CNCF or becoming a sub-project of Kubernetes, and then we can update the channels accordingly.
Yeah, I guess as long as it's officially a standalone project, it should have a standalone channel.
Yeah.
But that would be under CNCF, not under Kubernetes, though.
Correct. I mean, depending on how we end up landing it, but yes.
Right. If we donate, then it'll be over there. Yeah. Do you want to bring this up in the SIG storage meeting? But that's next week. Or you think it's too early to?
I think it's a little early. I wanted to talk to. So I think one of the challenges is the project originally was co-owned by, it was Kubernetes, Mesos, Cloud Foundry, and Docker. Mm-hmm. And on the non-Kubernetes front, those different companies have had a lot of churn, and I think the folks that were involved with the project from those companies no longer work there. And so I need to go and identify who the appropriate folks would be from those sides to re-engage them and say like, hey, we need to start talking about the future here, and then once we have those people in alignment, then bring it up on the SIG storage side.
Okay.
Hey, Michelle. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Anybody else have a question, topic, anything they want to chat about? All right, cool. Short and sweet. Happy New Year, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.